myself to change my clothes. I have a change of clothes in my pack. I keep thinking I need to eat something. All the things I needed to do. There are the right things to do, but I'm not doing it. So hypothermia is pretty crazy because I read many stories of people who have died solely because they didn't have someone else to just look at them and call them out. It's really preventable, even while it's happening. The spiral of it can be stopped. So my partner Ashley, she looked at me and said, "Okay, that's it. Eat this ball right now." She had like an energy ball that she had. "Eat this right now." She was screaming at me because I was like, "No, no, 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 no." I was saying something silly. And then she helped me take my shirt off and change right now. And that really started to get me back. I was shaking. I felt like my heart was freezing. It wasn't like my tips on my hands freezing. It's not the hand freezing. It's not the face freezing. It's much more serious than that. I felt like my core was really frozen. I remember telling her, "Let me just lie down here a second." And I wanted to curl and just lie down.
Yeah, that's when you go to sleep and you don't wake up. That's really scary.
Exactly. I'm like, "No, no, you don't know what you're talking about. I just need to lie down." And you sound like you know what you're saying. I just need 5 minutes. It's like I'm drunk. She saved my life.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, that's wow. Thank God she was there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I made that commitment. I'm not gonna do winter hiking on my own. I know many people do it, and it's their comfort zone. That's fine, but still, it's not something I feel comfortable doing. It's a book that I read that's very famous amongst the 46, especially the winter 46. It's called "Where You Find Me," which is a story of someone who's someone who has far more winter hiking experience than I do have, and she perished this way. She perished this way. She just did not make the right calls, and there was no one there to call her out.
Yeah, that's exactly why I also am with you. I don't go out in the winter by myself either. I might go up like a small mountain, like a Mount Joe type of thing, just to get out. But I'm just the high peaks for me. It's not for me solo in the winter at all, because that's
Like a
exactly
10
what
mile or
happens. You
fine,
don't
anything
know.
above 10 miles. Mm-mm.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't like exactly what you said. You don't know that something's going wrong. Other people will see that. So exactly like you're saying, when you're by yourself, there isn't that other person to do that. But thank God, Ashley, was that her name? Ashley.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ashley
yeah.
was there. A
She was
shout out
there.
to Ashley for saving your life, quite literally, on the Allen Mountain Trail.
And it's funny. And while she was doing it, it didn't feel like, "Oh, I'm saving someone's life." It looks so simple. Like it just looks like a generic moment. It's just everything is a retrospect.
Yeah, of course. Hindsight's
I'm happy
2020.
I did that, or I should have done that. Exactly. So that's why the hiking buddy who knows you don't sound like yourself, uh, is the best tool in your toolbox for those
Mm-hmm.
situations.
Sure. All right. Well, we're about an hour in, so we'll start to wrap things up. But I do have another question I want to ask you too. So my favorite part of your story, and I think that a lot of people can relate to, and even maybe people who listen to this podcast who don't even know yet that they can relate to it. But how you were in, a totally different world. You're in the high end fashion industry world. You yourself told me that movie, The Devil Wears Prada, people like that are actually that way in that industry. So that's the industry
Correct.
that you were working in. And then,
Yes.
fast forward a few weeks few months during the COVID shutdown, and now you're out climbing mountains. And now look at you, you completely altered, within a year, even your eventual retirement plans, and you're in the outdoors all the time. So what would you say to people who, might need a change and might be able to find the change that they're looking for in the great outdoors like you did?
Yeah, it was a complete, total transformation. And my favorite part of that is that it wasn't a set script. I just gave myself the opportunity to find a different path. I thought when I started right before COVID, every other week I was on a plane in a different country. Fashion Week London had just happened. And I thought the noise and the lights and high heels and planes and in high fashion was enough to make me happy. And when COVID stopped all of that and all of that noise settled, what remained, it wasn't pleasant. I realized that there was this unescapable emptiness, and all of the fulfillment that family brought me wasn't enough to address that. In that journey of hiking and going to the high peaks, I was able to find a different kind of silence, a silence that allows me to meditate, allows me to be creative. So many times from hikes, I came home with ideas on things I should do. It was when I had the idea to write a book about my journey. It was in one of the hikes, and whatever area you work on, whatever it is that you need inspiration for, when you find this beautiful, healthy silence, your mind just opens up and a whole world of possibilities just reveals itself to you. So the takeaway here for me is just find your way to find that peace. And it doesn't have to be high peaks, but nature in general does help. And I do try to inspire my friends to take a moment when stress levels get too high, take a hike, go to nature, step away, give yourself a break.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, once anyone is in any sort of, not right state of mind, it's crazy what a day outside and a day by yourself outside in particular can do for a person's psyche, and to, just to think, really shutting out the noise. There's really no better place to do that than outside in the woods and in nature. Or, if nature for you is at the ocean, that'll do the same thing too, or at a lake. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the woods. But yeah, I can relate to that very much.
But a healthy escape, right, James? We talked earlier. It's not escaping from problems. It's not escaping from life. It's escaping from this incessant stress that doesn't allow you to think things through. So in the beginning, I think I was overdoing. I think I was running from everything. And it wasn't a healthy balance between doing my 46 journey and looking for a different career and attending to everything that was needed at home. Eventually, I did find a healthy balance, and now hiking, it's part of my life the way that is permanently part of yours. So just watch yourself, and yes, go escape, but escape with a sense of balance. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I would agree very much so. I mean, life is a balancing act in everything you're doing. You need to make sure you maintain that balance. And being outside, being in the woods, that can obviously become something that gets out of balance. But I also find that that's a place where you can do the balancing because of going in the outdoors. It helps you to think, and it slows everything down, and it's just a great place to reflect on life. I love your answer. But now, as we wrap things up, I got 3 quick questions I love to ask people just for fun.
Yeah, let's do it.
No wrong answers. So, what is something that you keep in your backpack that's unique to you?
Well, we talked about the whole situation of me being like a guy. So I would say the pea style that I bought on Amazon. And I did want to say something no one said before in the podcast. So here goes my little device.
Yes, absolutely. What is that called again? So if people want to pick it up.
Sure. It's the letter P style.
Okay,
when you pop that on Amazon, it shows up.
All right. For all the ladies out there that want a better way to pee out in the woods, check it out. Pee style.
I never thought I'd be talking about this in your podcast. It's hilarious.
Anything goes here on the 46 of 46 podcast. Well, we're in the summit sessions. My next question, in your mind, what makes the Adirondack Park a unique place?
I think for me is the fact that each one of these mountains are almost like a character in the story. They all have different personalities, and it's completely different journeys. And not just that, like each trail in these mountains are different experiences. Take Colden, for example. I did Colden at the end of fall, and I didn't have the chance to do Colden in the winter. And I definitely didn't have the chance to do Colden via Avalanche Pass. So it's like, whoa, there's so many other Coldens that I want to discover. So the mountains are different, and each trail in these mountains are a completely different experience. I have never seen this kind of variety, this kind of diversity anywhere that I've looked for, in the West or in Asia or in Brazil, where I'm from. A mountain that you after, it's pretty straightforward. That's what the mountain experience is. But in the Adirondacks, one mountain can have 5 different journeys.
Yeah, I love that. And I always say to people that the mountains are a character in a story, and they're a character in your journey, in your story. That's why everyone's is so different, and I could listen to people tell their stories going through the high peaks forever, because everyone's is so drastically different. And you really nail it with the different trails up the same mountain. You know, same mountain, same summit, drastically different experience getting up, different days, different weather. It's always changing, and that's why I find it just constantly it's very interesting to hear people's experiences out there. And then my final question for you: why do you hike? What does it do for you?
Oh, as I said, it allows me to find flow, right? To find that state of presence, of being 100% there. And everyone says this, but one thing that I want to remind everyone is that this incredible feeling that you find in the trails, of you paying attention to everything, navigating, listen to the sounds, seeing the animals if you come across some beautiful bird. It takes all of you, and you're 100% there. Find a way to come home and have moments like that. Like, put the phone away and be 100% there. It's someone talking to you. Can you be 100% there? Your child, or even if you're watching a movie with your loved one, can you be 100% there? We are so used to dividing ourselves in tiny little pieces and only giving a fraction of ourselves to each activity that we do. I love how hiking demands me to be 100% there, and reminds me that that's the way I should be living.
That is a fantastic answer, Liz, and a message that we could all absolutely take with us moving forward, me especially. I love that answer.
Yay!
Yeah, the fantastic, truly fantastic. So what's next for you, and where can people find you online if they want to reach out to you and chat?
Well, I'm going after this book now, so I'm shaping up a book proposal. There are some incredible books in the Adirondack about the Adirondacks, but actually not enough. This area, this park is just so incredible. There's so many stories. There's so much still to be told. So I hope to add my voice to that.
Great.
And I'm finalizing a blog about high peak hiking to help people quickly learn all the things that I have learned with this community. You can find information about all of this on my website. So my website is www.lizbacelar.com. And follow me on Instagram.
Follow Liz
for all
on
the crazy
Instagram.
Pictures. I just came back from Costa Rica, and there was a very funny moment. I thought of you. There was someone that said to me, a friend said, "Oh my God, you like mountains. We have to do this mountain." I'm like, "Sure." It's 100 meters. It's so tall. I'm like, oh gosh.
It's a little stroll in the park.
We were ocean. I know, we were ocean level, and people like preparing, getting the water. I'm like, dude, we can do this like in an hour.
Yeah, sure. You do it in flip flops if
quick.
you wanted to. Yep.
Flip flops. Yeah. For me, if it's not over 10 miles, I'm not breaking a sweat.
Sure.
Can you believe, James, I'm talking like that? You met me
It's
at
amazing.
1.0.
It's amazing, and I've watched the whole journey and your whole kind of transformation and evolution happen right before my eyes. So it's always enjoyable to see that, and I've seen that with, dozens of people now since I started doing this podcast, and it's exciting. That's why I'm chatting with you here, because it's just so exciting for me. It's exciting to see how it worked for you, because I know what the mountains did for me, and I've seen what they've done for other people. So it's always an exciting thing for me.
Well, my next item on my wish list is to do a winter hike with you.
Yes, this winter we will get out there, and I look forward to doing that.
You pick the mountain.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. I don't.
Please don't pick Alan.
I'm not looking forward to snow yet, but once the snow comes and I commit to it, I know we'll be getting out there.
Good. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely, Liz. It's been a pleasure, and I'm glad you were able to come on this show. And I think we'll wrap it up right there. with this episode of the Summit Sessions here on the 46 of 46 podcast.